in that agenda checked box world that the WNBA's built. It's an activist league. It has been for years. They've got regular sports fans involved, and they can't handle it. All right, this has been a welfare-ran league. The NBA has propped up this league, kept it going for years. Nobody knows whether or not they've really ever turned a profit. Nobody knows. We suspected that
ongoing tension continues to surround Caitlin Clark and her treatment by fellow players across the league, including hard fouls, questionable conduct, and what many perceive as jealousy or resentment directed her way. Some observers have pointed to a racial element, while others suggest Clark faces added scrutiny for not fitting the identity-focused culture the league has cultivated in recent years.
They turned a profit last year, but again, nobody knows. They didn't release those figures, by the way, which I find rather interesting. Enter in media legend, one of the GOATs, Dan Patrick, formerly of ESPN, then he went to NBC. He's got his own show, The Dan Patrick Show, right? And they are out at a golf tournament, celebrity golf tournament. There's all kinds of folks.
Critics argue the WNBA has increasingly leaned into activism, alienating traditional fans in the process, and struggling to handle pushback from them. The league has long relied on NBA financial backing to stay afloat, and its actual profitability remains unclear, since official figures have never been released, something several commentators find notably suspicious.
Out there, I saw earlier, I just did a video about Seattle Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald on Black and White Sports Football. And he was on the Dan Patrick Show, oddly enough. Well, Dan Patrick had scheduled Cathy Engelbert, the commissioner of the WNBA, to come in and look. Dan Patrick wasn't going to pull any punches with her. Now, he's going to...
Veteran broadcaster Dan Patrick, a longtime fixture at ESPN and NBC, and now host of his own program, found himself at the center of the latest controversy while broadcasting from a celebrity golf event. Patrick had arranged an interview with WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, intending to ask direct but fair questions.
He's going to call balls and strikes. He's going to be down the middle. But it's not going to be a softball interview. The WNBA is in a complete PR crisis. You got Congress looking into them because they believe that there could be some civil rights violations going on in the league. And most importantly, and this is what I keep trying to say, it's still a business that has employees, and your employees have to go to work in a safe work environment.
The league is currently facing serious scrutiny, including a congressional inquiry into potential civil rights concerns, and observers note that, as a business, the WNBA has an obligation to ensure a safe workplace for its employees. Congress is actively seeking answers.
Environment. That's the way it is, right? And Congress wants questions answered, and Dan Patrick was going to give Cathy Engelbert an opportunity. She scheduled an interview with them, and she backed out. By the way, she is at this golf tournament. Dan Patrick, his crew, has pictures of...
Engelbert had agreed to appear, but ultimately withdrew, despite being present at the very event Patrick was broadcasting from. Photos even circulated showing her practicing golf swings nearby around the same time. Many are now calling on NBA Commissioner Adam Silver to reconsider her position, arguing she isn't fulfilling her responsibilities.
Cathy Engelbert taking practice swings at this golf tournament that he is broadcasting from. And she backed out. Adam Silver needs to remove this commissioner. She is not doing her job. Let's listen to this, folks. I want us to do a reaction to it.
Yesterday, we were hoping to do an interview with Cathy Engelbert. She's the WNBA commissioner. Todd spoke to...
According to Patrick's account, a producer had approached Engelbert at a pairings event the night before, and she had agreed to appear on the show, having been cooperative in past years. The following day, the crew waited nearly 2 hours for her to join, expecting her to finish a hotel meeting and conference call first.
To her a couple of nights ago, And we had a pairings party. Todd went up to her. She's been very friendly to the show. Last year at this event was friendly to us. And Todd said, hey, we'd love to have you on. There's a lot of questions. People have not heard answers from the commissioner. And she said yes. So yesterday, after the show, we waited almost 2 hours for her. This was scheduled. She was going to do a meeting in her hotel room, a conference call, and then she was going to join us. So
eventually, word came back that WNBA public relations staff advised against the appearance. Patrick expressed frustration that Engelbert, as commissioner, deferred to her PR team rather than making the call herself, especially since the interview had been publicly promoted the day before.
Fritzy, for at least 90 minutes, is looking just for an update. We're standing by, we're waiting to interview her. They didn't, balk at anything, didn't.
That is her at the event that he is at. This golf event. He is having his show, doing his show from. She's there.
Say you can't ask anything, and we thought, okay, we're going to be able to finally ask questions about Caitlin Clark, the WNBA.
He noted that while people's schedules can shift, this had been framed as an opportunity for her to directly address tough but fair questions, particularly given how many strong opinions already surround the topic. He pointed out that she did appear on a Kansas City radio show around the same time, though reportedly limited to softer topics like league expansion rather than more difficult subjects. Patrick also referenced how, during the earlier incident involving Alyssa Thomas and Clark, his team spent an entire morning. He emphasized that the goal was simply to give the league a fair platform to respond, not to ambush anyone, but that backing out after already committing sends a poor message. He compared it to interviews with commissioners from other major leagues, noting that even when questions are difficult, those leaders still show up prepared, rather than avoiding the conversation entirely. He also mentioned that Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White had similarly declined to address questions tied to the congressional inquiry, despite being directly connected to it, reinforcing the sense that league leadership across the board is avoiding accountability. Patrick suggested that if the league continues dodging direct questions, it risks facing a much tougher reception when eventually required to answer before Congress and national media outlets. He noted a growing trend of fans stepping away from the league altogether, some saying they'll stop watching entirely as long as Clark remains with her current team, others stating they won't return until there's broader leadership change across the organization, including both the coaching staff and league office. He pointed out that television partners are paying for a certain audience size, and that audience is shrinking in real time, calling it a genuine PR crisis for the league. Patrick also referenced Fever COO Amber Cox's public exchanges with Clark's fanbase online as an example of unprofessional conduct from league personnel, arguing it reflects an organization more concerned with social media narratives than sound leadership, further reinforcing the perception that the league isn't being taken seriously at this stage.